What's up, guys? Welcome to Mr. Candy Love. Let's go. Hey, it's your boy, Mr. Candy Love. I am here once again with 15 unexpected moments that cannot be explained if they were not caught on camera. Let's dive in.
It goes without being said that some strange, unexplainable things happen in the world. From suspected time travel to gaining real-life superpowers, here are 15 unexpected moments that cannot be explained.
Wow, what is that?
Can you see that? Is that an alien?
Number 15. Deers in the ocean. Sometimes events just can't be explained. I mean, in actuality, there's probably more of the unexplainable than there is explainable. After all, the whole point of science is to learn things that we don't know. Sometimes the lack of information can be infuriating, other times bewildering. Now imagine if you were like these fishermen. You've woken up and had your breakfast and been on your way towards a far-out fishing spot. Up ahead, something is wading in the water. Just the silhouette of two heads as they make their way through water can be observed. As you encroach, you realize it's two deer. That's right, deer in the middle of the ocean. How the heck did deer get this far from shore? How long have they been at this swim? So many questions, so little time. The crew rescued the deer by tying a rope to their bodies and legs and loaded them into the cargo. Now, many fishermen would have ignored the animals. Maybe they'd take a few photos with their phones, but a rescue would typically be out of the question. Driving a few hours out to sea just to turn around without any catch is an entire day loss of profit. Some people just can't afford that luxury. Luckily for these deer, their rescuers boated them all the way back to land and released them into the forest. To this day, we have no idea how the deer made it out this far, nor why they were inclined to make this trip in the first place. Before we move on, if you don't smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell today, the clown, will appear under your bed tonight. Number 14. Mysterious Yeti in Russia. He's done it again. The elusive Yeti, otherwise known as the abominable snowman, has been hiding away in Russia all this time. No wonder it's been so long since its last sighting. In those frigid winters, barely anyone dare wander the Russian wilderness on a winter's night. It's the perfect cover for this guy. On a real note, take a look at this video. It's some really freaky stuff, if nothing else. Indeed, it does look to be like, I don't know, some kind of humanoid. I'm sure the video will be discredited for that reason, and I don't blame them. It could have just as quickly been a friend of the driver who hopped out and crossed the street to create some internet buzz. On that note, if it wasn't someone that you know and you stopped the car right there for this creature, then you're nuts. I mean, of all the stories we've heard about this beast, would you want to test that theory? Apparently, this driver does, as they stop and use their light to search for the creature in the darkness of night. If that were me, I'd hit the gas and never look back.
I would have hit the gas too.
Number 13. The wow signal. In 1969, aboard the space station, a mysterious sound pierced through the radio system they used to communicate with Earth. The sound, eventually dubbed the wow signal, was a high-pitched, steady tone that astronauts claimed sounded like someone was screaming wow.
Do you hear that? That whistling sound?
And if that wasn't eerie enough, the astronauts were on a mission exploring the moon's dark side, a still relatively unknown place of discovery. You can imagine the fear that might creep in when this was your mission, and if you're the one to receive this signal. At first, NASA claimed that the strange sound was radio interference, but from that, another question was born. Something was undoubtedly transmission, but experts were clueless with no way to trace or understand what the signal was. What could that signal have been? Wild speculation has been abundant since the event. The signal is an alien transmission. It's in a language we don't understand, and the tones are just too high for humans' ears to hear. And on they went. The truth is, we have no idea what happened that day or where that signal came from. It's also worth noting that since that day, we've heard many strange sounds in space. It's not a wow, but different roars, singing, and other strange sounds that only add to the infinite mystery that is outer space. Number 12. Bigfoot, British Columbia. We got the Yeti. It's essential we give his relatives some love as well, don't you think? The two are often confused as one and the same, but I'm here to tell you that there is a difference. Bigfoot is in the remote forest, a national park version of the legend, and the Yeti is in the fjord. All in all, though, they exhibit many of the same similarities, including the ability to blur camera footage and elude satellite imagery for hundreds, if not thousands of years. The sightings have been mainly in the Pacific Northwest, with recent footage sure giving me the creeps. Get this, they're starting to suspect that Bigfoot is indeed real, but how we have monsterized them, I don't know.
I've never seen a moose walk and step, and not show signs of a four-legged creature.
Ancient tribes are existing around the world in the most remote locations. They stay away from significant civilization. Are Bigfoot sightings really just a few of these hairy humans going rogue from the strict rules of their own village? We don't know, but more and more evidence suggests that that may be true. Imagine if that turned out to be true, though. What could these masters of illusion and secrecy teach us? Would they teach us anything? Needless to say, my interest has been piqued. There is supposedly so much evidence piling up in the existence of this creature that in British Columbia, activists are fighting to get Sasquatch added to the official list of endangered creatures. Now, that's just wild. Number 11. Derek Amato's genius. The brain is one of the most complex creations in all the galaxy. Don't believe it? There are more neurons in your brain than there are stars in the galaxy. That's an incredible development of evolution, far more significant than anything else we know of. With something as powerful as the mind, you'd think we'd know more about it. The truth is, we know little about the brain and the incredible power it more than likely possesses. Take Derek Amato, for instance, whose tragedy and rising is something that seems to belong in the comic books, not reality. It also gives me hope that maybe I can fly one day. He hit his head extremely hard in a swimming accident that resulted in a concussion and partial deafness. That's not all. Derek, never having touched an instrument in his life, was now a musical genius. How? If I had an answer, it'd be beside the point of this list, wouldn't it? Medical experts are baffled. They've studied his brain, heard him play. Nothing gives reason to the magical switch of the brain power from not knowing how to play an instrument to becoming a master at it.
My hands just kind of went crazy and I was playing fluid. It was instant. There was no building up or rehearsing.
It all happened because he bumped his head. I mean, what are the odds of this ever happening again? Not very high, I gotta tell you. Number 10. Tribe caught on GoPro. Remember those ancient civilizations I told you about earlier? Here's a perfect example of another known tribe that was once thought to be extinct just a few years ago. Many theorized a child or an alien because of its tiny size, but the truth is even more fascinating. It's a member of the once thought extinct indigenous Monte Pygmy tribe that once was prevalent in the area. Can you believe humans still live a life of complete separation from the rest of civilization? Whether they even know of the technology that exists is another excellent question. If so, how do they view the tech in that tribe? Is it voodoo to them? Is it mysticism, witchcraft, magic? It's a beautiful example of when us humans simply don't understand something. So we usually just guess. Thank goodness the guys riding the dirt bikes were carrying GoPros. If they haven't captured this footage, we may still consider the tribe as extinct. Now apply the same logic to the Yeti and Bigfoot mystery, and we might be getting somewhere. Number 9. Gary Johnson's interview. And what is probably the strangest of occurrences on our list, Gary Johnson, the once Republican presidential nominee, is interviewed and reacts in one of the most bizarre ways ever recorded. I mean, I cannot stop laughing, but it's bizarre. Even the press who was interviewing him was taken back at this tongue's sudden thrusting out of his mouth. The weird part is that he doesn't put it back. Instead, he just bites and keeps talking.
I think I could stand up there for the whole debate and not say anything.
Did he have a mini seizure just then? I guess it's entirely possible. We have no answer from the ex-candidate or the press on what went down here, but at least it's immortalized on the internet for all of us to laugh at. I mean, sorry, Mr. Johnson, but you can clear the whole thing up by coming clean. Otherwise, the internet will take over and do whatever it wants with it. I'd suggest the former. Some claim his human skin and animations just glitched, so he nearly revealed his true identity. Whatever you want to go with, just make sure it brings you some joy along the way. Number 8. Hector the Convector. When it comes to storms, we have a pretty good idea about how they form, how they increase, and when they are to arrive, albeit rarely accurate. This science behind storm understanding only makes this storm all the stranger. Names are usually given to storm by classifications of the storm's variables: wind speed, size, range, etc. Small storms aren't usually unusual enough to get a name, but there are a few exceptions. Hector the Vector, a storm that appears every day, has awed experts enough to earn its own name by locals even without warning. Hector forms every day like clockwork off of Australia's north coast. Each afternoon between September and December, at about the same time every day, Hector shows its face and bids welcome to the Melville and Bathurst. This isn't some friendly wave, however, it's more like the explosive lightning and thunder that accompanies severe thunderstorms. When Hector shows up, everyone in a 100-mile radius knows he's arrived. Talk about being famous. Number 7. The Black Knight Satellite. Whenever something comes hurtling towards Earth from outer space, there are always many conspiracy theorists that create some wild tales. The Black Knight Satellite, a story stretching as far back as 120 years, refuses to die, despite rebukes to many of the most bizarre of said theories. With that being said, there are still far too many theories still in the realm of the possible. From believing it was an alien spacecraft that crash landed on our planet, to a 12,000-year-old extraterrestrial spy satellite shot down by the elites in the Illuminati. Yeah, I know, I was glad to see that theory still exists. However, what they amount to is an intriguing set of ingredients that, when blended, allow people who secretly desire the discovery of extraterrestrial life to get together and start chanting alien and government conspiracy. With that in mind, this legend may never die. The spacecraft, known as the Black Knight Satellite, was supposedly shot down by a super-secret, stealthy Illuminati warplane that still orbits the Earth, with the alien spy tech being used against the rest of humanity. You can believe whatever you'd like. I personally like the flying spaghetti monster theory, but that's just me. Number 6. The Lottery Scratcher. Not only did this man literally die for a few seconds on the hospital table, but he was also given a lucky superpower after he returned back to his body. He describes the event as surreal and full of nothingness. When he was in the ambulance, he never expected to leave. Little did he know that not only would he wake up, but he would also win the lottery twice after that moment. Talk about a turn of events. That is 3 massive life-changing events, and they all happened to this one guy. That's some story. He must have been given some sort of lucky superpower in the few seconds of his abyss. After his near-death experience in the hospital, he was far from seeing life in the best light. Though he had a better outlook than before, his eyes were transfixed on the stresses and worries that can weigh on all of us. It's easier to do than you might think. With the random idea to try his luck on a lottery ticket and the idea that life is too short, he purchased his first ever lotto ticket. He never believed the odds were worth the admission price. First try, he ended up winning nearly over $1 million, and that was just the first time. With newfound confidence in the lottery, though not abusing it, he bought another ticket with some friends. Bang, another win. With the odds of winning the lottery, this guy managed to defy death and win twice.
I just won 250,000. I'm not joking.
Oh my God.
If that doesn't tell you to ignore the odds, I don't know what else might do it. Number 5. The Stockton Arsonist. In September of 1992, 3 massive fires set the Stockton countryside ablaze. In 3 separate locations, the arsonists laid waste to the locations and spread the fire department too thin to efficiently fight them. That means the fires burned and burned until they were little but ash. The arsonist has never been caught, and the reason for the arson is still unknown. Local law enforcement found no connection between the 3 targeted burn sites, deepening the mystery. Today we have little more knowledge about the fires than we did back then. Some teenagers were suspected in a joint effort. Still, no evidence was ever found to confirm this, other than hearsay and rumors spread throughout local high schools, as they often do. $500,000 worth of property was destroyed, all with no one to hold accountable. Needless to say, the town was on alert that following year. No fires have occurred since, and whether the massive destruction was intended is still unknown. Number 4. Time traveler accident. What do you think? Could Greta Thunberg be a time traveler sent to avert a significant world catastrophe before we pass the breaking point? and a rare photo that has surfaced of an 1882 group of children working nearby Canadian gold mine. One of the children resembles near likeness to Greta Thunberg. Whenever a picture of a doppelganger of someone of the present is discovered, you can always assume the internet will run wild with speculation and theory. The wildest of those being that Greta Thunberg, is a time traveler who has come back in time to avoid the destruction of the world as we know. Caused by the increasing threat of global warming, it's what she's an activist for, after all. There's no way to prove such an occurrence. Obviously, there's only the hope that this may be true. It's kind of messed up, however, if Greta does know how to time travel. Why is she withholding that information from the rest of the world? Does she have a directive from someone at a different time? Is she doing this on her own? So many questions, too little time.
Is that what they're saying?
Number 3. Dobby. Just last year, the home security cameras in residential neighborhoods picked up something strange, if not terrifying. A short, alien-looking creature that appears to have elven ears and wearing baggy clothes. Details of the being are vague, but is highly resemblant of Dobby from Harry Potter.
I'm honestly just kind of scared. We need to start an alliance.
Take a look, and you be the judge. When the homeowners saw the footage, they were horrified that a creature like this was snooping around their home. However, they weren't totally convinced it wasn't the neighborhood kids playing some funny jokes. That's the thing about home security. It can be easily spotted and easily deceived with trickery such as this. What would the agenda of the strange creature be? If it is indeed an alien, why is it walking around as if it were drunk and could barely walk? Those flopping ears in the shadow is an exciting part of the video. Remember when I sometimes said mysteries can be frustrating when no foreseeable answer is in sight? This is one of those moments. Just what in the world is this strange, waddling creature? My guess is some trickster kid with underwear on his head. Number 2. The Patterson Bigfoot footage. And what is the most controversial of all Bigfoot footage? It is the Patterson footage. By far, it's the most precise footage ever taken of the elusive creature. It's also highly suspected of being fake. The thing is, it can't be confirmed as fake or real, so the mystery whether or not he found the creature is still entirely up in the air. If it is indeed fake, however, it's by far one of the best faked videos I've ever seen. What sent the internet wild was the Patterson used a magnification method of zooming in on the creature, distorting the terrain around it and keeping it clear. That's a known technique in faking because we already give credit of the blur to the magnification, meaning we're more willing to accept irregularities in the faking if magnification is used.
The way it was moving, the massive muscle.
Footage has been studied by many, with none coming to a concrete solution. Maybe one day we'll catch him on a high-def camera. Number 1. The Texan Chupacabra. Canyon was a naturopathic doctor and hunter and had just returned from a trip to Africa. To say the least, she saw some crazy creatures while she was there, and none crazier than what she found when she returned to her home. As she entered her house, darting out the backyard was a hairless canine-looking figure made of skin and bones and displaying a strange gray and brown color. Worried about her chickens, Canyon made her way to the pen where she found them all slaughtered, with their throats ripped open and their blood drained. At first, she thought it was just a dog or starving coyote. Then it struck again, leaving what appeared to be the drained chicken corpses all over the farm, once again sucked dry of their blood. No canine eats like this. They would eat the body and the meat. The creature attacking her home is only drinking their blood. What kind of creature only drinks blood? According to Canyon, the Chupacabra. She set up motion cameras, hoping to catch it in the act, but to no avail. To this day, she is awaiting the results of the creature, and she may be waiting for quite some time. Around the world, bizarre occurrences leave the human brain in bewilderment. How can these things actually happen? How can we replicate it? If I could get some of that musical genius, that would be kinda great. All in all, the world is more mysterious than we all know. This shouldn't frighten you, but excite you. Go out and explore. Learn something new about the wonder of the earth. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you want to get our content delivered right to your inbox, subscribe.
Wow, guys, this was just like the title, 15 unexpected things that were not explained, Wow. I'm feeling it, I don't even know how to express myself. Yeah, some look real, some look fake. And but guys, if you enjoy this video, just give us a like, and if you would like to get more of our content, just subscribe, turn on the notification button so you can get our video whenever we upload. I will try as much as possible to be uploading one video, at least one video every day. At least one video every day. We can do it, boys. Let's make this work. Mr. Candy Love signing out. Woo!